If you're a man who has tried everything, the meditation, the therapy, the self help books, the self improvement courses, and yet you still feel like you are drowning in anger or emptiness or this untargeted anxiety that lives in your body like this background refrigerator hum of discontent, then I need you to hear this. You are not broken, you are not weak, and you are not alone. What you are is a man trying to heal using a map that was not drawn for you. And until you understand how your nervous system works as a man, you'll just keep fighting the very emotions that are trying to save your life. Let me guess your story, because I've lived it and I've heard it from hundreds of other men. You wake up with this weight on your chest, and then every single day you are going through the motion. You wake up, you scroll, you go to work, you scroll some more, you keep working a little more, maybe a little more scrolling, maybe some dating apps in the mix there. If you're lucky, you go to the gym after work, then video games or some more scrolling, or you watch some Netflix after you eat dinner. Then you go to sleep and then you repeat. And that is your usual day. And then one day every weekend, which is your only brief reprieve from this life that you really don't like living, you have to spend just getting ready to do the same week all over again. It is like a cycle within a cycle that turns into a blur. And maybe you've tried talking about the fact that in the midst of this life that you don't like living, you also don't feel very good, surprisingly. Maybe you found the courage to be vulnerable, to share about your feelings. Maybe you've gone to therapy. You've tried to do all the things that you're supposed to do, the self-help, the meditation, everything that we mentioned at the beginning of this video, and yet nothing changes. You somehow are so self-aware, yet still so stuck. You still feel anxious around women, not feeling fully confident or fully yourself. You look around and you still feel this gnawing sense that you're falling behind, that life is passing you by, and that you're not the man that you could be, or that you're not the man you're supposed to be. And the worst part is that you're also surrounded by remarkably unhelpful advice, and some of that even comes from therapists, unfortunately. Advice like, man, you just have to change the way you think about yourself. You have to change the way you talk to yourself. You just have to believe you are enough. You just have to love yourself. Your feelings are valid. But deep down, you know that that is not what you need to hear, because you don't feel enough. You do feel empty. Your life does feel meaningless and without purpose. You do feel like you are failing at some fundamental level. And here's the thing that I really want you to understand that nobody else is telling you. That feeling is not a pathology. It is not something bad to make go away. That feeling is intelligence. It is wisdom. Now, what do I mean by that? These negative emotions that you are feeling, that you're going to war against, that you're fighting, they're not random, right? What is the purpose of negative emotions? They're not just a malfunction that our body is having. They're your nervous system and your whole body's way of screaming at you and telling you, brother, we have to make some changes. Something that reliably happens with the guys that I work with, and this happened twice just today, which is what inspired me to make this video, is that I'll get on phone calls with them and I'll hear some variation of, my life sucks and I'm miserable. How do I stop feeling miserable? Like there's this strange software script that seems to run by default in our minds that tells us that if I feel bad, it must mean I'm the problem. That somehow I'm just supposed to be able to live this isolated, lonely, disconnected life where I don't feel any kind of meaning or purpose, where I'm watching everybody else succeed on social media allegedly while I'm scrolling through my phone at 2 a.m. past a bedtime that I know I was supposed to make so that I could sleep better, so that I could feel better, so that I could stay on track with habits that I'm not keeping up with. But instead, I'm up late scrolling on my phone, watching porn and scrolling on social media, instead of lying next to a real girlfriend because I can't get one of those because I'm so anxious that I can barely talk to a 115-pound girl. And yet somehow I'm supposed to feel good about that. Like I should just be able to self-talk my way into feeling like I'm enough, even though every single action that I am taking throughout my entire day is pointing me in the direction of misery. All of the content of my life is this giant sign that is screaming, this is not okay, something is wrong. And yet we somehow think that the negative emotion is the problem. Well, let me ask you, should you feel good about that? If you are living that life that I just described to its entirety, or at least to some degree, is that something you should feel good about? Like, if you have a healthy brain, would it make sense that you would live that kind of life and yet somehow feel good about it? Well, let me ask you this. Would it be normal to feel joy at a funeral? And maybe in some small circumstances, perhaps, but assuming that it was a family member or somebody you loved, a best friend, would you be feeling joy at a funeral, or would the appropriate emotion to be feeling in that circumstance be something more like grief? You see, people in our culture do not understand really what emotions are. We have a very, very low amount of emotional competency and intelligence. And we also don't understand what it means to be a mentally healthy person. That's a topic for a different video, which I actually would love to make and will plan on making now that I'm thinking of it here in the moment. But with respect to the emotional health component, what does it mean to be an emotionally healthy person? It means you feel appropriate emotions to the appropriate degree in the appropriate circumstances. It should hurt. You should feel sad and you should feel grief at the funeral of your best friend. If you are living a life of disconnection and loneliness in which you lack the power to create the kind of life that you want, you should feel anxious about that situation. That is the appropriate emotion to feel. But you've been taught that your negative emotions are somehow the enemy, that they need to go away, that you need to process them away, that you need to sit on a cushion and meditate and give yourself affirmations and tell yourself that you're enough until the negative emotions go away. And then finally, you can be okay with your life. And meanwhile, what you're really doing the entire time is a giant exercise in disembodiment, dissociation, and self rejection. These emotions are trying to tell you that something needs to change. And yet, you're sitting there just rejecting the message they're trying to send you over and over and over and over and over again. And now, here is the breakthrough truth that is both profound and paradoxical. You will never change how you feel by trying to change how you feel. You will never be able to get rid of negative emotion by going to war with it or by trying to love it out of existence, especially if you are a man. And here's why. You see, men and women do not find safety psychologically and physiologically the same way. There's no better or worse here, it's just different. You see, women are biologically wired to find safety primarily through connection and belonging, through feeling held and understood by their community, of feeling like they are a part of a larger group of people who loves and cares about them, who sees them as enough and valuable and worth protecting, providing, and fighting for. When women feel loved and accepted, then their nervous system relaxes. This is beautiful, and for women, it works. But men are wired for something else. A man's nervous system and his biology is wired to find safety through capability, through competency, through becoming effective and powerful in the world, through knowing that you can handle what life has to throw at you and that you understand how to act in the world to both get what you want and avoid what you don't want. To make that concrete in an example that is very challenging for a lot of men in our current day and age, this would involve like knowing how to get a girlfriend. Like, what would it feel like to know that you could go out with the goal of getting a girlfriend and within 1 to 2 months you would have one? How many men today can say that they actually have that level of competency with their dating skills? The point is that your nervous system is not going to relax and let go of this anxious or depressive response because you're telling yourself that you're enough, or because somebody else is trying to tell you you're enough, or that this whole situation is okay. You just have to think about it differently. You see, your nervous system will relax when you prove to yourself via generating outcomes in your life that you are capable. And this isn't about becoming macho and like suppressing your emotion. It's understanding that what actually creates peace and safety in your body as a man is how you are able to act and produce results in the world. And now you might be saying, but Nate, there are some real inner issues that therapy and this kind of inner work can help. Yes, absolutely. But I have a twist to add on to that for you. After years of working directly with people who have complex trauma, and after 8 years of carrying a complex PTSD diagnosis myself, I can tell you something from direct experience that I have seen to be 100% true in every case, and it is this. It is not enough to soothe the inner child. You must become the adult who stops repeating the pattern. That wounded inner child does not need an adult to sit across from him on a meditation cushion, telling him that he's loved and everything is going to be okay while the house is burning down around you both. He needs you to become the adult who says, this is not safe, this is not okay, and then gets him out of the fire. And what I just walked you through is such a core reason of why modern therapy does not work for so many men. Because men do not need to be made to feel better. They don't need to feel loved and they don't need to feel belonging in the same way that might be effective for a woman who is seeking help. Men don't need to feel better. They need to do better. They don't need to feel better about the crappy life that they're living. They need to learn how to build a life that doesn't require coping and isn't crappy in the first place. Let me give you another concrete example. If you feel very anxious around women, the solution is not going to be to go journal about your relationship with your mother or sit there and go through thought experiments of, oh, what's the worst thing that could happen and what about this and how do I sit here and preemptively analyze everything and come up with the perfect plan of every single thing that I'm going to say and every contingency for everything to go wrong and oh God, that is never going to result in you feeling safe. You don't need a plan. You don't need to feel better about yourself before you go do it. The solution to overcoming your anxiety around women is to give yourself the undeniable proof that you are capable of doing it by actually just going out and doing it. The solution is to go out and talk to women until you develop your social skills adequately to experience authentic and meaningful connection, and to experience going up and speaking to a woman and then having her actually want to see you again. If you feel worthless and like your life doesn't have purpose or meaning, the solution is not going to be to sit there and tell yourself affirmations about your inherent value. It's going to be to build skills that actually create value so that you have a sense of contributing to solving a problem that is bigger than you. If you feel disconnected and lonely, there's no amount of sitting there telling yourself that you should feel okay that's ever going to make those feelings go away. The solution forward is to become the kind of man who has an active social life and friends who want to see him. That's the solution. Because you see, right feelings do not precede right action. Right feelings follow right action. You must act your way into the emotional world that you desire to experience. If you want to feel confident around women, you got to go talk to them. If you want to feel a sense of meaning and purpose in your life, you have to take responsibility for something that matters and start contributing to it in a significant way. If you want to feel less lonely, you got to go out and make friends. Your emotions are trying to tell you that something needs to change. They are your ally, they are not your enemy. The only question, if you are feeling a lot of negative emotion, is what are they trying to tell you and what are you going to do about it? No amount of information is going to transform you. If this video resonated with you, I'd like for you to drop a comment below with one of the areas in your life where you've been trying to heal, where you feel very self-aware, but you also feel very stuck. I want to start a conversation about dealing with some of these common areas and helping you guys find a way to break through and find the transformation that you're actually seeking. And as always, if you are somebody who is struggling with pornography and you are ready to stop talking about change and actually change, then I want you to go down into the description below and click on that link and book a call with me. If you've been looking for a sign that it's time to break out of this rut and become the man that you could be, this is it. Click that link. I hope to see you on that call. Hope you got some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.